Started? Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale. Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Jayo Vijay Guranga Dayanita Vijay Guranga Jayo Dayanita Jaya Vijay Guranga Dayanita Vijay Guranga Jayo Dayanita Jayo Vijay Guranga Jayo Dayanita Jayo Vijay Guranga Jayo So today we will have a little course called Gita for Your Success. Welcome to all of you who have come to the Cologne temple, and welcome to all the devotees who are online. Thank you for joining us. So we start with Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So as we know, Bhagavad Gita is a part of Mahabharata, a great Indian epic, and it contains ABC of the Vedic knowledge, the summary of the Vedic knowledge, the most important points, and people have been studying Bhagavad Gita for thousands of years, and many famous people have been studying Bhagavad Gita for thousands of years, and they gave their commentaries about the Bhagavad Gita. And I have been studying Bhagavad Gita for about 40 years. And I had a privilege and opportunity to translate it into Sanskrit language that forced me to read it very carefully and understand every sentence of the Bhagavad Gita so that I could translate it. Why is the screen off?
For the verses of Bhagavad Gita, if we need verse.
No. If you need, I will tell you later, but you can turn it off. So, we have, for example, commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita from various acharyas, and fortunately we have a commentary of Srila Prabhupada on the Bhagavad Gita. There are many editions of the Bhagavad Gita, but Bhagavad Gita as it is unique, and it's most widely sold edition of the Bhagavad Gita all over the world. Devotees have been selling Bhagavad Gita for about 50 years. Maybe even more, so since book distribution started. So when I was 40 years old, that was around 98, isn't it? 58? Yeah, that's 98. I become aware that there is an occupation in this world called life coaching. And I thought that this occupation is perfect for devotees. That it's an occupation in the mode of goodness. And then I started to listen a little bit to these motivational speakers, success teachers, happiness experts, and started to learn principles they are teaching. And gradually I realized that these principles are already there in the Bhagavad Gita. So I started to look at the Bhagavad Gita actually as a success manual, as a life success manual, and started to discover many principles that can help us. So maybe you have heard about Bhagavad Gita, maybe you have engaged in devotional service, you do pujari service, you clean the temple, you distribute books. But the question is how much you are connected with this book, Bhagavad Gita. How much you read it, how much you are connected to its content, to its verses. When I was studying the proofs that God exists, statements by Srila Prabhupada, proofs that God exists. I found one, Srila Prabhupada says, Bhagavad Gita is a proof that God exists. So, this is not an ordinary book, and every verse is transcendental, and every verse can make a big difference in our lives if we read it carefully and study it carefully. And there are verses that are obviously very, very perfect for our, they are perfect for our success. Like, for example, already in the second chapter, we have the first success principle, verse 7. Karpanya dosho pachata svabhava. Arjuna says, Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapanam. What principle is there in that verse? Can you tell me? You know that verse. If you have been studying Bhagavad Gita, you know that verse. So, what principle do you recognize in that verse that can help you in your success in life, and spiritual life and in material life? So this is my question to all of you. You can show it here. Show the verse.
Now it takes a little bit time.
Ah, okay. But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. But this screen should hurry up.
It takes time.
Karpanya dosho pachata svabhava pričami tvam anasamudha cheta. You know more? Bruhitanme Shishyasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapanam. Now I am confused about my duty. I'm confused about my duty. And I am a soul surrendered to you. Please instruct me. So what principle do you recognize there that can help your success? Okay, you haven't studied Bhagavad Gita from the point of view of success, so maybe you are not accustomed to look at Bhagavad Gita like that, and Bhagavad Gita verses. So, the principle we recognize in this verse is that Arjuna is asking for help. When we don't know what to do, when we are confused, we ask for help. We cannot make it alone. This is why we have come to Krishna consciousness, to the Krishna consciousness movement, because we came to ask for help. To ask for help, spiritual master or spiritual masters, to ask for help devotees, to ask Krishna for help. And everybody needs help. Even most powerful people need help. One proof is Arjuna. Arjuna is so strong, spiritually, materially, in any possible way. And he has had his moment of weakness. He has had his moment of weakness, and he has admitted. So humble person will admit that I need help. But sometimes we are too proud to ask for help, or we don't trust anybody. to ask for help. But in this world, there are people we can trust and who can guide us, who can help us. So as far as I have seen, this verse has, I would say, the first principle that I have recognized, that is a very powerful principle. Sorry. Once the lion, once a lion wanted to go to the jungle and check what jungle animals think of him. First he came to the monkey. Monkey, who is the king of the jungle? Monkey was scared. He said, "You are, sir, you are the king." He said, "That's right, and never forget this." Then he came to a snake. Snake, who is the king of the jungle? Then snake, with her hissing sound, she said, "You are, sir, you are a king." "That's right, and never forget it." Then lion came to an elephant, and he said, "Elephant, who is the king of the jungle?" And elephant, he just had his vegan lunch. He was chewing, he was eating, and he didn't want to be disturbed, so he just ignored him. Now, the pride of the lion was hurt, and he started to become angry. Again, he said, "Elephant, who is the king of the jungle?" Elephant just continued chewing, very, very content. Now the lion was almost roaring. "Elephant, who is the king of the jungle?" Then elephant, with his trunk, is it trunk? Is it trunk? He caught the lion like this and smashed him off the tree. And you know, in cartoons, you have, when you are smashed, you have stars around your head. And then the lion said, Okay, you don't have to get angry because you don't know the right answer." So there is always, no matter how big you are, there is always somebody stronger than you, there is always somebody who knows more than you, there is always someone superior to us. And that's why we are asking for help, because sometimes we are helpless. So this is the attitude with which we can approach the Bhagavad Gita. We take this book for granted. It's on our shelf, we don't open it. Maybe sometimes we look, we say, "Oh, that's Bhagavad Gita, nice picture." So, but actually it is said that you can offer food to this book. It's like a deity. You can offer puja to this book. And you can offer obeisances to this book. Even before you read it. I just had a 2-hour interview in Split, Croatia, about Bhagavad Gita. Unfortunately, it's not in English, so you cannot understand it, and there is no subtitles. So this book is fully spiritual, and it's a word of God, and it's a blessing of God to us. So I would like to inspire you to take Bhagavad Gita more seriously and to study it, to carry it with you wherever you go, physically. There are smaller editions, lighter editions, more easy to carry. Whatever you do with the Bhagavad Gita, it will be auspicious. Sometimes when I have consultations with devotees and coaching sessions, and they give me a problem, I ask them to open it randomly and to point out like this. And then to see if this verse or purport relates to their problem. Then also there is index. And you can look for the topics. If you have a problem for anger, with anger, you can look at anger under A and see what is said in the Bhagavad Gita about anger. You can get enlightened. So, if you have this attitude that I want to use this book as a practical manual, I want to look at this book more often in relation to my practical daily problems, then you can benefit more from the Bhagavad Gita. And even if you open it randomly, okay, during the day, you can get enlightened by a verse from the Bhagavad Gita. Nowadays on YouTube and Facebook, what is popular is shorts. These are short videos of 2 minutes. And we have, fortunately, Vanipedia, who is publishing excerpts from Srila Prabhupada's lectures. So nowadays people are so busy, they don't have time to read the whole chapter. But even if they hear one verse, they can benefit and they can get enlightened. So now let us look at some more principles. I have identified 6, there is more. First one is ask excellent questions. Arjuna has asked excellent questions in the Bhagavad Gita. Very sincerely. If we ask the right questions, then we can get the better answers. Our thinking is consisted of questions and answers. So the better the questions you ask, the better is your thinking, because you will get better answers. Or you can ask others also for answers. Throughout the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is so many wonderful questions by devotees. They pose to different saintly devotees. Kings ask saints and sages for help, for advice, for enlightenment. And of course there is books about questions, professional books, that we can learn very good questions from there. So devotees are asking excellent questions throughout the scriptures, or sometimes in classes. And we can learn. For example, instead of asking why others are not perfect, or why others are doing this and that, we can ask, what can I do to improve myself and things on this planet? In this way, we take more responsibility and we can make a nice contribution to make a positive difference. So you try to become, you can try to become aware. What questions do you ask yourself throughout the day?
You ask it now or later?
No, not now.
Okay, thank you.
Later. Questions come later. But you can observe what questions you ask yourself during the day. In this way you can improve the quality of your thinking, because you will be asking yourself better questions. Once there was a man in the concentration camp during the Second World War. He was a Polish man from Poland, and he would see every day how people are taken to the gas chambers to be killed, and he was thinking, okay, so when I will be the next? But then he started thinking about escape. He was thinking, maybe it's possible. Although it looked impossible to escape from such a situation. So he was asking himself a certain question that I will ask you to guess a little bit later. And that question saved his life. Other prisoners, they asked, why are these Nazis so cruel? Why am I here? I don't deserve it. Why is this happening to me? I'm a good guy. Why these people enjoy killing others? But this prisoner, he asked himself a different question. And asking again and again. And one day, he saw a truck with corpses. So these were people killed by gas. These were corpses of the people who were killed. And he got an idea. If he takes off his clothes and if he mixes with the corpses, the truck driver will bring these corpses, including himself, outside of the concentration camp premises. And he took off his clothes, put it in the bushes, remained naked, and mix with corpses. Now it was a little bit spooky to be with these corpses. But he thought maybe it's worth it. So after some time the truck driver came and he drove the truck. He brought the truck outside and started unloading the corpses into a big hole. And our man who was alive, he had corpses falling on him. And he remained quiet. The truck driver had a cigarette. It took him a few minutes, about 5 minutes. And he went back to the concentration camp. And now our Polish guy was free. And he was running 25 kilometers to freedom, naked. Of course, on the way he found some clothes, some people, but he escaped. So you tell me, what question do you think he asked that helped him and saved his life?
Can ask no?
Not ask, but you have to guess which question he asked.
Sorry.
You can ask later. After this section of about questions, you can ask your question, but now I'm asking everybody to guess. What do you think, which question did he ask? While he was in the concentration camp.
How God can save me.
Very nice. Some people were asking why God doesn't save me. His question was related to his responsibility, not somebody else's.
Why? Why do I have this?
No, this didn't save him.
What should I do? No.
What should I do?
Yeah, and what should I do to escape?
Yes, he asked, how can I escape?
How can I escape?
And then when he saw this truck, he got intelligence, because he was always asking intelligent questions. If you ask excellent question all the time, you will get answers from within, from somebody else, from the book, from the newspaper. It's amazing how it works. Srila Prabhupada has a book, Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers. So we have to learn to ask excellent questions. So he was asking, how can I escape? And after some time he got this idea that I should mix with corpses. And if the driver doesn't notice, I'm naked as every corpse. If the driver doesn't notice, he can be saved. He can be unloaded to the hole. It's a little inconvenient, uncomfortable, but it's worth it. Freedom was waiting for him. Because he asked an excellent question and used his intelligence. God has given us intelligence and we don't use it. We don't use it enough. So how can we stimulate our intelligence to work better? By excellent questions. Arjuna asked excellent questions and his intelligence started working better. And he came to better conclusions about what he should do. So this is one powerful success principle from the Bhagavad Gita. What is your question?
I think I got my answer. Thank you.
Wonderful. You got your answer. Okay. Oh, this wonderful devotees online. There is more devotees online, so we are very happy. And then for today we will get maybe one or two more principles. So do you have any questions so far about what I have said?
What does excellent question mean? What is it?
Wonderful question. This is excellent question. What does excellent question mean? Excellent question means a question that stimulates our intelligence.
How many times do we read this book?
What?
How many times did you read this book?
How many times did I read this book?
Yes. Right.
Minimum 3 times, the whole book, but I'm always reading it here and there and here.
I know, but 3 times...
the whole book.
The whole book.
Minimum, yeah, because when I was translating I had to read it at least 2 times. So, yeah. So tomorrow we will have a spiritual partnership workshop. And the main tool when you work in pairs will be questions. You will be asking each other questions. But you have to choose for yourself which questions you would like to others to ask you or that you ask yourself. For example, there is a question that expands possibilities. This is a question combined with different, inquiry words, like how, when, who, but combined with the word else. How else? Who else? Where else? When else? So when you are thinking about options you have in life, use this word else. What else can I do? How else can I serve devotees? How can I help myself today? And then listen. The answers will come from within. Sometimes they will come from without. Or you can research to find answers, but it's important you start with the question. It's important you start with the question. Einstein was great in asking questions. And today I heard an anecdote how one man outwitted Einstein. Would you like to hear it? Outwitted means outsmarted. Come in. Ausparted? Okay. So there is different versions of this anecdote, but one version says that Indian man, I don't know why Indian, but Indian man has proposed to Einstein that I'm going to ask you a question, and if you don't know, you are going to ask me a question, and if I don't know the answer, I give you $5. And but if I ask you a question and you don't know the answer because you are a genius, you have to give me $500.
Can you repeat, please?
If you ask me a question, the Indian man said to Einstein, if you ask me a question and I don't know the answer, I give you $5. But if I ask you a question and you don't know the answer, your ignorance is more expensive.
Then you get $50.
No. Your ignorance is more expensive because you people consider you to be a genius, so you have to be able to answer any question. So you have to give me $500. And anyway, he is richer than him. Einstein is richer than this Indian man. And Einstein agreed because he likes challenges, he's intelligent. Einstein was also reading Bhagavad Gita. You know that? He was also reading Bhagavad Gita. So, so Einstein asked him, what is the distance between moon and the earth? And the man scratched his head, I don't know. So I have to pay you $5. Then he asked Einstein a question, what animals goes up the hill with 3 legs and down the hill with 4 legs? And Einstein was thinking. And he finally admitted, I don't know, here is your $500. Then Einstein said, but you know what? I'm very curious. What is the answer to this question? So he asked him a question because also if the Indian man doesn't know the answer, he has to give him $5. So he asked him, so what is the answer to this question? And the Indian man said, I don't know, and gave him $5. So $490 he earned, and he outsmarted Einstein. So Einstein was famous for, he said, Einstein said, when I have a problem, then I spend 90% of the time looking for the right questions. And I solve the problem in 10% of the time, or in 10 minutes, or something like that. If you become curious about questions, your life can change. For example, if you only ask yourself, how can I do this better? How can I do that better? Like, for example, you're working. You're making in the courtyard, you are making a hut. In the courtyard of this temple, they are making a hut. So you may ask yourself, how can we make it faster? Hare Krishna. How can we make it faster and better? For example, how can we make it when it's raining? Because rain stops with the work. Would it be possible? Maybe you can do something, prepare something inside, so it doesn't get wet. You can just try to expand your possibilities for any area of life. How can I be a better husband? How can I be a better wife? How can I be a better parent? Are you asking yourselves these questions daily? But if you ask these questions, you might get better answers and your life might get easier. And you may become more successful. You see, based on Arjuna's questions, his life became more clear and more easy. Maybe not so much more easy, but more clear about his duty. So what should we do when we don't know something? Alexei, what should we do when we don't know something?
Ask someone who knows.
Ask someone who knows. And do we do it regularly?
It's difficult.
We don't do it. Mostly we don't do it. So why we don't ask when we don't know something? Because we don't remember what we know. And we know that I should ask when I don't know, or look for the answers. But we don't do it. So this habit is a bad habit. And good habit would be to develop a habit of asking excellent questions. Sometimes we see in the scriptures, like in the Bhagavatam, sages of Naimisharanya asked 6 questions, and the whole Bhagavatam is made based on 6 questions. They asked Sutta Goswami, and Sutta Goswami was grateful for excellent questions. He said, your questions are glorious. Thank you for asking. So this is one habit that we can develop that can help a lot in our lives. And we can help others by asking them relevant questions. So do you have any questions? About questions? What is your name, Prabhu?
Dmitry.
Dimitri?
Yes.
And Mataji?
Krida Kavani Veritas.
Once again?
Krida Kavani Veritas.
Krida Kavani. Okay, I never heard that spiritual name. What does it mean?
The name of Srimati Radharani, who inspired Krishna into the secret wheels.
Who is what with Krishna? What?
Inspired.
Berated?
Inspired.
Inspired?
Inspired.
Inspired by Krishna?
Into the secret leelas.
Top secret.
I've never heard this name before. Thank you. And Prabhu, what is your name? Johan. Okay. So do you have any questions about questions?
Should the questions be asked in a positive way?
What does that mean?
Что это значит?
Positive questions. Positive questions.
Что это значит позитивный вопрос?
So what would be the negative question?
Какой будет негативный вопрос? A negative will be with not. So the Krishna is not doing that or this, but the positive is doing this or that. Not as a positive, there is a sure specific English word, but I don't know.
Well, we can say in general that excellent questions, they actually help our success.
Можно сказать в целом, что совершенные вопросы помогают нашему.
They help communication.
Они помогают коммуникации.
They help to come to better conclusions.
Они помогают прийти к лучшим заключениям.
They help to find better answers.
Они помогают найти лучший ответ.
And they stimulate intelligence.
И они стимулируют разум.
You see, the man in the concentration camp,
Мужчина в концлагере,
he asked very obvious, simple question, how can I escape? But nobody was asking it.
очень простой вопрос. До этого никто другой не задавал.
But he was asking it every single day for many days.
Он спрашивал его себя каждый Божий день много раз.
And one day God gave him an idea.
И однажды Господь дал ему идею.
Get on the truck naked.
Залезь голым на грузовик.
Yes?
То есть, получается, мы должны заслужить, чтобы Господь нам помог задавать нужные вопросы.
It means we should deserve that God helps us to ask perfect questions.
But this is a question of your choice. That you want to learn excellent questions
Вопрос твоего выбора.
and practice excellent
Вы
questions.
хотите научиться совершенно
And if you want this,
если вы этого хотите.
God will give you intelligence to ask excellent questions. If you really want to ask better questions and improve your thinking.
Если вам разум для того, чтобы задавать эти вопросы, вы очистите свой разум и сможете.
I advise people to ask every single day,
Я советую людям
how can I help myself today?
просто каждый день.
I have a very busy day, I have some pressure, stress.
У меня очень
How can I help myself today in this busy day? And they can come with wonderful answers. Yes? One more?
То есть, я правильно понимаю, если у меня нет вопросов, то я должен развить желание, да, чтобы задавать нужные вопросы.
Если ты что?
То есть, правильно, если у меня нет вот этой потребности задавать вопросы.
So it means if I don't have the desire to ask the questions, I have to.
Ты должен начать с того, что я должен желать начать задавать эти вопросы.
Ты закрути еще давай.
Нет, все просто.
Да ничего не будет. So it means that if I don't have the desire to start the question, I should start with the desire to ask the question.
So do you have a desire to ask better questions? Do you have a desire now?
У тебя сейчас есть желание задавать лучшие вопросы?
Есть.
Есть.
So everything starts with desire. So I want to ask myself and others better questions because it can improve the communication with myself and with others. And it can help me get better answers. It's an amazing thing. It's a discipline of the mind to train yourself. And it can completely change your life. It changes my life. I ask myself, I teach this so that I can remember it. When I teach something, I always push myself to do this. I have a whole folder, or no, it's too much. I have a book that I can send you, but I don't know if you can read in English. Maybe it's translated into Russian also, but we have to find this in Russian websites. It's called Change Your Questions, Change Your Life. And if you study only Arjuna's questions, you can see how powerful questions he has asked Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. So tomorrow we are going to practice this. The basis for spiritual partnership partner is actually excellent questions. You ask each other excellent questions, or you give each other your excellent questions to be asked and to think about them. In our Krishna consciousness movement, we have festivals, we have a book distribution, prasadam distribution, deity worship, temple cleaning. We have devotees writing books. We have classes. We are printing books. But something is missing. Still, after 50 years. Proper devotee care. And part of the devotee care is deep conversations. Honest conversations. For example, we have some taboo topics. Something that we are not inclined to speak about openly. And then we have a public life, private life, and secret life. But we should be able to speak at least with one person about all three. And Rupa Goswami says, Guyam Akyati Prichati. Two symptoms of love between devotees are confidential conversations. Confidential conversations. And the basis for confidential conversations are excellent questions. So what I would like you to do is to become more aware what questions are you asking yourself during the day. And do these questions help you or not help you? there is a technique called Q storming.
Есть техника, которая называется,
You know what is brainstorming?
вы знаете, что такое брейнсторминг?
It's like brainstorming means you
Это означает,
have a group of people
у вас есть
and ask them for ideas, many ideas about one goal.
и вы спрашиваете у них кучу идей по поводу одной.
So many brains think about one question
Много мозгов,
and you write it down. You get many ideas.
вопросов, и вы это записываете у вас.
Q storming means thinking about what questions should you ask yourself about any area of your life.
Брейнсторминг это означает задавать назад.
And what questions do you want to ask yourself? You want to ask questions that help you succeed, that help you achieve your goal. So what are these questions? So now think about the question that you would, for let's say Bhakta Dimitri and Bhakta Alexei are spiritual partners. They do two-way coaching every day. And they share questions. So let's say Bhakta Alexei is your coach and half of the session you are a client. So what question would you like him to ask you every day that will make a big difference in your life? Maybe you would like him to ask you, have you chanted 16 rounds? Or have you chanted 8 rounds or 4 rounds? Maybe you would like him to ask him, have you read Bhagavad Gita today? Maybe you would like him to ask you, have you taken care of your health today? Are you married? Are you married? No. Okay. Maybe you would like him to ask you, have you said something nice to devotees? But you can tell me, if you like, now, what questions would you like him to ask you? Tomorrow we will practice. This is a warm-up. Загревание? If you want your coach to ask you an excellent question so you can think about it and you can, really use your intelligence. So what question would you like him to ask you? You give him your question. You give him your question. Excuse me. What question? How do you say question in Russian? Вопрос. It's like prashna. Similar like prashna. Prashna, вопрос, prashna in Sanskrit is similar. Prashanie in Slovenian. Prashanie. So, yes. So, can he think about the question?
Should I ask? So now will I begin with the question? Which time did you woke up today?
he wants you to ask him this question.
I want to ask him that he asked me this question.
Aha. And
we check.
but he doesn't have a question.
Нет, у тебя нет вопроса.
No.
Yeah, maybe I'm not that good as a translator, but it looks like he doesn't understand.
Okay. But you can tell him that he needs to think about question, that he wants you to ask him.
Я тебе задавал. It's very difficult.
Difficult, he says.
Yeah.
And you would like to ask him, when did you get up?
Yes.
Okay.
That
He asked you. He asked you. Yeah, anyway, tomorrow we will do this exercise.
И то же самое в обратном порядке.
Ну да.
Подумать о тех вопросах, которые ты бы хотел, чтобы я тебе их задавал.
Да. Тогда...
Oh, you see, many Bhagavad Gitas are coming.
Yeah.
Я сначала не понял. О,
Yeah, so see,
два
we have...
Есть вопрос.
Завтра приготовься.
Окей. Записывай, да?
Write it down.
Сколько вопросов должно быть?
He can think about it during the night.
А?
He can think about the question during the night.
Можешь ночью об этом подумать.
Yes. А сколько должно быть вопросов?
How many questions it should be?
One that is most important.
Самое главное.
He can have more questions
У тебя может быть несколько вопросов,
that cover all areas of his life.
которые покрывают всю твою жизнь, все твои.
You see, this helps you to have improvement mindset.
Видишь, эти вопросы, они помогают для того, чтобы проработать состояние.
How can I do better in every area of life?
Как мне делать лучше в каждой
And it's powerful
части жизни.
because the soul likes to expand, to develop.
Потому что душа, она любит развивать, она любит.
That's the nature of spirit.
Это дух, это как бы природа духа.
So questions stimulate that kind of expansion.
Стимулирует вот это.
Развитие.
Okay, so I will finish here. If you have any questions, then we can finish. If you have one or two questions, and we can finish today's session. We started at 6:30, so it's 8 o'clock now. So do you have any questions? About questions specifically?
What, I don't know if the question was, but how can we give a good question when a high personality is sitting in front of us? How can we give a attitude of to be humble and give a good question?
You want to ask a question that is a high quality question.
Yeah.
Yes. So, for example, you can ask something about Krishna, or maybe about Krishna's pastimes. Or if you have a doubt why Krishna does this or that, then you can ask this, because you are not sure why Krishna did that, why Krishna broke his promise. You heard about that. Krishna broke his promise. But you can ask also about how to overcome obstacles on the path of devotional service that you encounter. Maybe you are already aware. How long you have been in Krishna consciousness?
2 years.
2 years. So you are probably already aware that there are certain things you want to work on and improve in these areas. So you can ask either publicly or privately. If it's too confidential, you can ask privately. If it's possible to get darshan of a guru, or if you ask senior devotees, have a session or something. But what we will speak about tomorrow is this partnership where actually this can happen between even equal devotees, like peers, equal devotees. Because you don't always have a mentor available, or a coach available, or a guru available, but You can ask each other and you can research together and look in the Shastra. Okay, and let us find the answers to these questions, and you become curious. You want to find out answers that will help you on a devotional path. And then if you are outside of the class and you remember a question in your room, then write it down and bring it to the class. Write it down and bring it to the class. Or do a research in Wikipedia, in the database, do a research and find out answers. When people ask me questions, I often give them a link and ask them to do a research and then get back to me and give me the answer. So I learn, they research, and everybody is happy. And they develop a habit to study more deeply. Okay?
It's said in the scriptures that we should ask the spiritual master in a humble way, in a special way, in a humble way. What does it mean? So humble.
That it means you're not asking in a challenging way. Not challenging, like a proud question or a offensive question. Yeah, in a humble way. It also means respectfully, very respectfully. Sometimes you may ask some difficult question, but if you ask it respectfully, then it will be taken in a positive way by the speaker. Okay, so let us stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vijay Gauranga Dayal Nitai ki jai. Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you for staying.